The stuff Mick's doing with the guards, is it similar to Villanova and Marquette at all in your mind, or is it...
What, with Cincinnati?
Yeah, what they're doing there with the guards out.
Well, you know, they're more. They have more guards, really. Marquette, you know, plays Jay Crowder in the center, and they basically play 4 guards. So they stretch you.
Obviously, to play small, you got to score. That's why you do it, right? You're not doing it for any other reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Mick would say they're probably better defensively with 2 bigs, but they're way better offensively probably with 4 guards. I mean, we've been playing 3 little guys because we're better offensively. You pass the ball better, you handle the ball better. It's amazing. They're averaging 10 turnovers a game. You know, their stat line in terms of they're averaging 10 steals a game. And people don't take the ball from them. They don't turn it over. They don't throw it to you. You don't get easy baskets. You know, you don't get those. You know, Mick was asking me about, you know, the Marshall game. We extended the lead in Marshall when we got easy baskets. We got a couple of steals, and then we got out in transition a couple times. This game's about getting easy baskets in some form or fashion.
Pushing them out is going to be important, I guess, tomorrow defensively.
Well, they're going to play off the bounce, so I mean, guarding the bounce is going to be important.
They have more size than most teams.
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
They're not playing size. They have size. They have guys on the bench, but they're not playing it.
Is this pretty much for they're playing for second place, or to hold second place?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think in their minds, they come in here and win, and then beat Syracuse. They're tied for first. They got Syracuse on Monday.
How about if you win?
Then we're tied for second.
What do you like about Kirkpatrick? Takes a lot of big shots.
They all take big shots, though. I mean, he ended up with the ball, but I mean, it could have been Dixon, it could have been Parker, it could have been Wright.
Talk a little bit about Gates down low. I mean, he's been there, it seems like forever, and a lot of experience coming in here tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think Yancey's done a more consistent job rebounding it. He's always rebounded, but I think he's been more consistent rebounding it. They rely on him to rebound the ball and to kind of guard the basket, and he can score. You know, his game has really, I think, between last year and this year, has gotten so much better. He's making more consistent shooting shots on the perimeter. He can go either shoulder. You know, he'll hook it right-handed, he'll hook it left-handed, which he was predominantly right-handed before. I think he's really worked really hard at expanding his repertoire.
Still wait and see on Dennis for tomorrow.
Well, he went yesterday, but I don't know how he is today.
Could you take a look at a kid like Kevin Marine, who 1 year he's playing high school basketball in Minnesota, and then the next year he's sitting out medically redshirted, and now all of a sudden he's banging against Oriaki and Drummond. How has he handled that transition? And you know, it just seems like he's able to kind of fit into that role now.
We don't have the best players, but we got really good guys. Kevin Noreen is a wonderful guy. And he's in the gym all the time. He loves the game. He loves to play. He's obviously not the most talented guy, but he gives you everything he's got. He will continue to get, I think, more and more cerebral, you know, in terms of knowing what to do and making plays because he's in the right place. And he'll continue to get stronger because he'll work. You know, he's not one of those guys that is going to moan and complain about having to do some work. He loves working. I mean, he's what, 210 or something when he came in here.
Right.
I think he's close to 260 now, and it's good weight.
How confident will you be tomorrow when you put him in the game and say, you know, hey, go out there, guard Gates?
Well, obviously, I was confident with him before because he's played in every game.
Right.
He played well the Baylor game, for instance.
How do you feel playing against a game against a guy that you're coached with?
Well,
or coached with you?
obviously, I don't feel that all that bad about it because I've played Andy and I've played Frank, and you know, it's Andy. Andy is of all of us is the philosopher, and Andy's idea was at least a good guy will win. So that's why in a non-conference we played Mississippi. That's why we played Kansas State. You don't, I mean, you still feel bad. I mean, I know Frank felt miserable, but at the same time, he still felt good that you know, for me. So it's worse when you play somebody you don't like and you lose. Then you really feel bad.
Big East teams take pride in their home court and their home court advantage. And Cincinnati's won like 7 in a row Big East games. How have they managed to do that? What does it take to do that?
Well, if you look at their games, they've won a lot of close games. The Georgetown game went right down to the last possession. Connecticut game pretty much went down to the last possession. They've won close games. They've figured out how to win. You know, but Bobby's Nick's got, he's got guys. You know, Kirkpatrick's a sophomore, but he's been there 3 years. You know, Dixon and Parker and those guys have been there 4 years, and I mean, look at our 2 4-year guys. The difference is they just got a whole lot more of them than what we do. It just keeps amazing me. They keep showing the youngest teams in America and we're not on there, and I don't understand that. I mean, there's a lot of times we played. We had 4 freshmen on the floor.
Your 2 stars are all anybody's seen.
Yeah, but that's the only 2. You know, that's and they, you know, they've got guys that have kind of been through it before, which I really helps. You don't get as rattled.
From afar, it looks like this team's got good chemistry. They work together. Is that accurate? Do you see that?
We've got good guys. You know, but the truth is, you know, in 5 years here, it's pretty much been the case all the time. We didn't play very well together early on, but it wasn't selfish. It's just that you had all those guys that are used to the ball stopping with them, and it takes a while, you know, to. And there were so many of them too, you know, when like with KJ Truck and Dev, you know, they were surrounded by a bunch of veterans that, you know, and then those guys are screaming, you know, one more, and they didn't have any choice but to pass it, you know, where these guys they had those 2 guys and that was it.
When people talk about your youth, they forget about Kevin Noreen, do they not? Just because he's a redshirt freshman, not a true freshman, but he only had whatever the 6, 7 games. I mean, is he almost a veteran presence on this team, even though he had so little experience coming into the season?
He knows a little bit more, but he didn't play, so. You know, we're going to have 8 sophomores next year. Jawan Staten will be in that class. We'll have 8 sophomores.
How do you break that trend? You tried to do that when you got here because John had the same thing you inherited, and you're kind of in that cycle again. How do you break that?
Hopefully we do a better job of getting, you know, I don't know. I mean, we get a guy who would have been a heck of a player for us, and he had a heart condition. And you know, who knows? Who knew that everybody thought Noah would come in here and play 4 years? All Danny Jennings talked about was how great it was here, and you know, you can't have guys leave.
Ideally, you'd like to spread it out, though. You'd like to have so many in each class, right?
Ideally.
Yeah.
That's for the Dukes and Carolinas of the world, I think.